Now, our next speaker is Afzal Khan. Afzal co-founded our Muslim Jewish Forum, the late Henry Gutterman, 15 years ago. And since then, we have developed his good work and organised 126 diverse events in Greater Manchester, and Afzal has attended most of them. He was awarded a CBE for his extensive interfaith and local government work in 2008. Afzal is a former mill worker, bus driver, police officer, councillor, Lord Mayor of Manchester, and a member of the European Parliament. He was awarded Mayor of the Year title in 2006. He is a solicitor by profession, and for the past 3 years, he has been the MP for Gorton and is currently Shadow Deputy Leader of the House of Commons. Afzal helped secure funding for the British Muslim Heritage Centre and has had a long association with the Heritage Centre since its inception. He has worked tirelessly fighting Islamophobia as a community leader, councillor, MEP, and now Member of Parliament. Afzal, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, and shalom, shalom, good evening to all of you. Can I first of all say thank you to you, June, for those warm words, and also thank the Muslim Jewish Forum for holding this event in this particular month, as this is the Islamophobia Awareness Month. I feel honored and feel also proud, actually, that the Muslim Jewish Forum is holding an event like this. At the end of the day, when we set up the Muslim Jewish Forum, the idea was to work towards one another, to understand one another, and to assist one another. There are many things over these 15 years that we've done together which supports one another. So in that sense, I think holding an event like this is really significant and important. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here today as well. As you heard from an introduction about myself, for the last 20, 25 years, I've been working against basically racism, and it's about discrimination, which I have a problem with. I fundamentally believe that society is better when we use everyone and we treat everyone equally. And so it has been a very interesting journey, incredible journey, and a difficult journey sometimes as well. As I worked during myself in the council, some of the issues that happened, and then I remember my journey to European Member of Parliament was never planned. I never wanted to be a member of European Parliament. But I usually now say it's thanks to people like Nick Griffin, the British National Party leader, who was elected in 2009 to represent all of us in the European Parliament, that really motivated me, because I was involved in campaigning against him in 2009. I'm a founding member of Hope Not Hate. I'm also a founding member of United Against Fascism and Greater Manchester Racism. So these different organizations who have been motivated and worked against. So we saw him winning in 2009, and that's actually when I decided to become a member of European Parliament. And it was an incredible journey in the sense that the way we campaigned to make sure he's defeated. I remember at the time, he wrote a leaflet as a campaign in the European Parliament. Each party is entitled to send a leaflet free of cost on the taxpayer's expense to every house. And he actually used that opportunity again to spread hate. And one of the paragraphs he had used was simply saying that, look, there are 8 people who will be elected in the Northwest to represent the European Parliament, and the big parties are going to get their people elected, and the last seat will be for him and a Muslim Labour. So that was the language he actually had used, and of course, that's upsetted me because I was a Labour candidate. Labour candidates can be of different faith or no faith. But he, of course, he was peddling this hate message. And I was thrilled when I won. I remember walking over to him in the Manchester Town Hall, and I said, Nick, you sent this message to the people of the Northwest. Can I now remind you, the people of the Northwest prefer a Muslim Labour over you. I didn't like that, and he said, I'll be back. And I said, no, you won't. You are finished. And I'm glad and pleased that actually we don't have any councillors now or any MP or MEP from the British National Party, but this issue of hate is still around and is in all sorts of different forms against all sorts of different people. We've seen the issues of anti-Semitism. We've seen with the COVID-19 how it's been used against different groups, even the Chinese people as well and the Muslim as well. So what I am hoping to do is to use my time very briefly, because I think Amin Saab has done a brilliant job laying out the background to the hate crimes against the Muslims. So for me, the key point ultimately is that there are 3 million Muslims who live here and who then experience this rise of Islamophobia, which has been happening year after year for the last 7 years. And it has a real life implications for the Muslim community. But we've also seen that since the Brexit referendum in 2016, the hate crime increased by over 500%. And the recent example is the far-right peddling, this false narrative that the British Muslims are spreading corona, which we have seen during this pandemic. As a result of this narrative, Muslim communities have suffered a shocking 40% increase in online Islamophobia during this period. So according to this hate crime monitoring charity, Telmama, 40%. The government's own figures also once again reveal that the Muslims have been victim to the highest proportion of all hate crimes committed this year. And that the research in 2017 found that nearly 40% of the British population held negative or suspicious views towards their Muslim counterparts. So reinforcing the gravity of the problem. Whilst our political representatives should be a leading example, harrowing figures have shown that the derogatory comments made by the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who likened the Muslim women to letterbox and bank robbers, actually resulted in a 375% increase in hate crime across the UK, creating fear and anxiety among many British Muslims. The APPG, British Muslims, definition on Islamophobia, or as Amin would like to call it, a Muslim hate, was a milestone in combating Islamophobia. After all the first steps in rooting something out, the first step has to be is to name it. Next week marks the 2nd anniversary of the APPG definition. Whilst all the major parties have adopted it, which includes the Scottish Conservative Party, but the Conservative Party still has not. And to add insult to injury, they have also failed to deliver their promise to conduct an independent investigation into Islamophobia within the Conservative Party. I mean, bear in mind, many organizations, including Amin himself, was heavily involved with this work. Muslim Council of Britain given a dossier of evidence of like 300 of these incidents. But I myself have written to this Prime Minister, previous Prime Minister, to the party chairman at least 7-8 times, again asking that they should actually move forward with this. But we still have seen that actually they're dragging their feet, despite how serious this issue is. So as a vice chair of British Muslims, I have been reaching out also to local councils here in Greater Manchester, to encouraging them to adapt the definition. We all have to start somewhere, and I encourage all of you here today to contact your local councillors, MPs, even the Prime Minister, that actually we need to do something about this hate which is around in our society, which has this huge impact on all of us. Now, if we look, unfortunately, from my own, the Labour Party, we've seen the difficulties and experience of discrimination all sorts of different ways. And now we've seen also that this stain of Islamophobia exists within the Labour Party as well. There's been numerous accounts of Islamophobic comments, activities, and cultures prevalent in our local and national party. There's been a recent report by the Labour Muslim Network detailing the prevalence of Islamophobia in our party. And I'm here to assure you, as the parliamentary chair of the Labour Muslim Network, I reaffirm my commitment to rooting out Islamophobia and working with the leadership to implement all its recommendations. This Islamophobia Awareness Month, it is our moral duty to do that. And I'm pleased to say that, only this week, I had a meeting with Keir Starmer and Angela, the deputy leader. Both of them, again, have committed themselves that they will fight Islamophobia. In fact, they will fight all forms of discrimination and will improve the party, the system, and the complaint procedures to make sure that there is no discrimination and it is rooted out of the Labour Party. So let us remind ourselves that the reason that the APPG created the definition was that the government's sheer reluctance to adopt a formal definition of Islamophobia in the first place. Whether we look at the rising number of hate crime, car insurance premium doubling if you have the name Muhammad, or exclusion in society, we are confronted with the fact that Islamophobia has damaging consequences for the life chances and equalities enjoyed by our British Muslim communities. The APPG's inquiry was set up to do something, and I hope that we can all come together and tackle racism in whichever form it takes place. So I would like to thank the Muslim Jewish Forum once again for their hard work and commitment in this area. And thank you for hosting this event. Thank you very much.